Alright guys, Elizabeth here from 79 Sports Therapy, and today we're talking about recovery strategies, and more specifically home recovery strategies. So let's get into it. So when we're talking about recovery, we're talking about that period after a bout of exercise which allows us to bounce back and put us in the best possible position for the next training session. And if you're not recovering particularly well, that can look like tired or aching muscles, fatigue, prolonged periods of fatigue between training sessions, mental fatigue. You can get demotivated to train, and in some cases you can see an increase in the prevalence of injuries. So it's really important that we recover well and give enough time and importance to recovery between sessions. So when we complete a training session, we are aiming to create a training stimulus which is hard enough to disrupt that level of homeostasis or that normal state within the body. And at the end of a training session, you'll feel fatigued, you'll feel tired, and you'll get that reduced level of performance. The rest and recovery period following that training session is where your body repairs itself from the stresses of that training session, and it adapts, and you get this new improved level of fitness. And ultimately that period of rest and recovery is where your body gets stronger from your training. And there's a number of strategies which we can use to help your body do this and make you feel better between sessions. So the most important strategies to get right are those which help facilitate the physiological changes happening after a training session. And those can include nutrition, sleep, and rehydration. So nutrition is really important after exercise, and we need to make sure that we're eating enough protein and carbs and the right levels and ratios, which will depend on the type of training you're doing, but it's really important that we are getting those in and at the right timing. So you want to be consuming protein, carbs sort of within an hour or two after your training session, and again at regular intervals throughout the day. Sleep is also really important. Getting enough sleep and enough good quality sleep, as this is where the body repairs itself from the stresses of the day, including your training sessions. There's been so much research recently which shows how important sleep can be for better adaptations and ultimately improved performance. Rehydration, another really important factor. When you think about it, we as humans are 67% water. There's so much water through our cells and within our bodies. So when we exercise, we sweat. We need to replenish that water that's lost to help those cells and tissues function as best they can. So we've also got a number of strategies which can help make us feel better and reduce that level of muscle soreness and that level of fatigue. So one of the most important things we can do is something called active recovery, and this involves low or gentle, low intensity exercise or stretches in the sort of hours or days after an intense training session, and it can be really good for reducing that soreness, that muscle soreness, and stop that feeling of tightness and stiffness that you can get after intense training sessions. We can also use hot and cold therapies. So, for example, ice baths. You fill up a bath full of cold water. You've probably heard of this before. Put some ice in, and you sit in that for about 10 minutes or so before you get out. And this is really good for helping, again, remove that metabolic waste. It can reduce that muscle pain sensation. You can get that DOMS feeling, that soreness, and reduce any small muscle inflammation that we might have after training. We can also use a hot bath alternatively, or hot therapy or heat therapy, and this uses the sort of principle of something called vasodilation, Essentially it's where blood vessels, the heat will allow the blood vessels just to open up, and allows more blood and more blood flow to that area, and again helps to facilitate the physiological changes going on after a training session. So there's a few strategies you can use at home to help you recover between sessions. In the next video in this sort of mini series, we'll be talking about how massage and massage therapy can be really beneficial for recovery. In the meantime, if you've got any questions or want some advice regarding your own recovery, you can book in for appointments, virtual appointments, at the website. So please like, follow, subscribe, share, and let us know in the comments what works for you and what doesn't. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll catch you guys later.